Well, the Trump administration is turning to artificial intelligence to boost immigration security. And a new U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services vetting center in Atlanta will use AI and other tech to screen immigrants and asylum seekers for potential threats to public safety. So officers at the center will have access to classified material, intelligence resources to conduct more thorough reviews of immigration applications. But critics warn AI could have access to highly sensitive personal data and restrict the process for some applicants. To help us understand how AI will be used here, we are joined now by Rumman Chowdhury, former U.S. Science Envoy for AI, as well as CEO and founder of Humane Intelligence. Good morning, Rumman. Thank you for your time. This is important because there are many concerns surrounding these developments, and I wanted to start here with what exactly this AI will be analyzing. What types of data will it be scanning to identify any potential threats?
Well, we're light on details, which is frankly concerning to people like myself. Now, artificial intelligence is quite good at synthesizing information. That doesn't necessarily mean the information is good or factual or objectively correct. Now, AI is only as good as the core information it's being fed. So if the core information is somehow biased or discriminatory, the output will be biased and discriminatory. And we know that we're in an administration that has highly subjective views on what the term terrorist means or what the term fraud means. And I'm just concerned that absent details of what kind of systems they're building and what kind of information it's being fed, that we're really going to see the grand at-scale automation of and the persistence, the technological persistence of the kind of biases that are being expressed by the Trump administration.
So are we getting a sense of the safeguards that are in place to prevent AI from producing false positives or false negatives because of some of the concerns you outlined? What if someone is deemed a threat and they're not, or the opposite, which arguably is worse, and they're planning to do harm here in the U.S.? What's being put in place now?
Again, we're very light on details. My concerns, I share the same concerns as you do, that we will see people unfairly vetted one way or the other, again, based on the inherent issues and biases of these models and the data and information that these models are being fed. So, what safeguards are in place are really a function of how this is being implemented, who is building it, and who is in the room. And currently, we have very little to no transparency. However, I would like to add that we have been using machine learning and AI systems for quite some time in traditional immigration processes. Now, maybe not to this extent, but we have used them to, for example, scan social media accounts. Again, this predates the Trump administration. So I also see this as an expansion of technological infrastructure that had already been developed. And again, people have been highlighting the issues of these models for years. Now we're just really seeing it be supercharged in this era of generative AI.
So maybe since the details are light on this new initiative, we go back to some of these previous models. It seems in many of these capacities where AI is used, working alongside human experts for verification is really key. You need that human oversight. Do you believe that to be the case, especially when it's serving in this sort of capacity, supercharged, as you say?
Absolutely. The human in the loop term, I think, is one of the most overused terms. But this is one of the cases where it is not only critically important that we have human oversight, as you've mentioned, human observability, but also some accountability and transparency to the public. So you mentioned, what happens if someone is flagged? Well, I would ask, what are our methods of recourse? What are our methods of contestation? So this doesn't require more AI. It actually requires more transparency into the kinds of government systems that are being built, the kind of access we have to information about what information is being used about us, our loved ones, our friends and family, and also how this is being utilized by the government. Now, the current administration is pushing back against any form of regulation or oversight, but I would say this is an example where we would need some process transparency, some information and data transparency into exactly what kind of information is being fed into what kind of systems, and where along this incredibly complex pipeline from application to citizenship, they're using AI.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.